A very good morning, and we take this opportunity as Spin Media to welcome you back. It is 6 o'clock Power Talk today. And today we are so much privileged to have our guest in studio. Welcome to our studio today.
Thank you so much.
And introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Wafula Ronald.
Yeah.
I'm a third-year student from Rongo University, pursuing Bachelor of Science, Communication, and Media Studies. I'm passionate about visual storytelling, and that is post-production activity. That is maybe in specific. I can just mention that it is video editing. Therefore, I am proficient in some of the several softwares in editing. That is Adobe Premiere Pro, Adobe InDesign, and also the DaVinci and the Final Cut Pro.
Wow, that's so amazing. I can see that you're taking the route of journalism. It
Sure.
seems like we're coming from that school of information, communication, and media journalism.
Sure.
So to move on now, what inspired you to take this, to pursue this course?
Okay, maybe I can just say that since I was born, I was born in a family raised with maybe I was so close to these people, these media practitioners. That is, I have my own mentor called Robert Masai from our home. He used to inspire me because some of the things that he was doing at that time, and I therefore saw it. I saw it better that I may be a journalist just like him because of what he was doing at that time. I saw one of the days he used to maybe to report things on matter of femicide, which I saw it better because some of these things have been put down, and therefore so many people are not talking about about it, and therefore me as a journalist, I know that it is good and it is of great importance that we talk about these matters so that we can save a life there outside.
Wow, I can see you have a very good background information concerning your choosing of this career. Now, you said that you're a third year, and I see you're likely going to graduate in the next one academic year. Now, how do you feel about the job market?
Now, about the job market, as I know, this world, we are living in a very competitive world, and therefore you have to be very, very ready for anything that it is there. Me as a journalist, I expect that now we have this thing in our university, that is, we have a student who have various specialization. We have students taking linguistic in media studies. We have those taking graphics and communication, and me as a journalist. But me as me, I do not I am not specialized in anything because I know I'm a journalist and I have to do everything, and therefore I expect that maybe in the job market I will do anything that it will come before me. And that is what we call the uniqueness, because I have heard in several media industries that they employ maybe if you are a reporter, you should be able to edit your work, and therefore I feel that my job, the job market is good as long as you are ready and you know everything.
Wow, we have really talked about very many good things concerning this career, and also you have really elaborated on us on how a person is going to intervene with this course, and at the end of the day, you're going to have something at the pocket. Now to move on, because you have really talked about so good things. Now, how do you think that this studies has prepared you for the real world journalism?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. My studies has prepared me maybe very, very well. As you know, since I started first year, I have been doing some let me just talk about the practical aspect. You know, since I started first year, it's almost like all my units that I've been doing there, most of them are practical. And therefore, I know that these practical that I've been doing, it will enable me to handle the journalistic duties that is maybe before me, that is in the future. And therefore I expect that maybe through these things, maybe because one of the days we have been asked maybe to produce a documentary, to develop a newspaper, a magazine, and therefore that I think that is enough for me as a journalist, and it has prepared me enough to face the job market, and there maybe I will be competitive.
A very nice response concerning that question, and I think you have really talked about to be something like to be an all-round journalist, because from print, electronic, digital, you've really talked about all those things. But there's a question I want to ask you concerning about the uniqueness. How unique is your course that is giving you to make you to be ready for this job market? Because you've said you are proficient in video editing, storytelling, and also digital marketing online.
Okay, speaking of uniqueness, for me, because I'm a journalist, we have, as on my specialization as a student pursuing journalism and communication, we have these things, maybe we have these units that are tailored specifically to journalists. For example, something like news writing. For me, I can say that I have been publishing stories on this mainstream media station, on mainstream newspapers like the Standard, the Daily Nation, the Star, and the likes. And therefore, I feel like that it has nurtured me, and being as a journalist, because even our own lecturers have been advising us that it is good to write these articles, and therefore it will develop, or it will create a good portfolio for you, so that in the near future you'll become a better journalist.
I'm really privileged to see that you have written several stories on the mainstream media. So you mean that your name is in status. If they go today and start checking for Ronny and Wafula, they just go to the archives of the newspapers, and there your name is there.
Sure. In fact, last month I published my first article, a Swahili article on Taifa Leo.
Wow, congratulations.
And it has been a very great problem for me, but I have been able to do it away.
That's so amazing for sure, from Ronny and Wafula. And also, to move on now, because you have said about this being proactive in doing your work, but we must not say that everything is good. But now, what if you fail to secure a formal job in Kenya, or according to your field of study?
Sure, that's a good question. Mr. Brian. First of all, I would like maybe to tell you that for me personally, I was raised in a family where my two parents are both entrepreneurs, and at the same time they are farmers. And therefore they have been my role models. And I've been thinking of this because I know maybe to someone or one or two way things may not get better as you wish. But for me, I know that maybe if I don't secure a job, I will become an entrepreneur, and at the same time as a farmer, so that I can be able maybe to raise some particular amount of money before I create my own maybe a studio, or maybe my own channel, or a YouTube channel. And therefore I prefer to become an entrepreneur and a farmer.
Amazing. I can see you have a good plan for you. That's gonna assure that there's no day we're gonna find you outside. Also, they say if you're no learner, then you can be running. So for you, we can say that you have a good plan. And also, Wafula, there's this question about the digital media and also the online thing. So how have you coined the online thing or the digital media to help you to secure a job, or else to make your job to be efficient in an easy way, or in an effective way?
Thank you so much. I've been waiting that question. Now, speaking of social media and content creation and the likes. Now, I can just say that maybe, first of all, I've been using social media for quite some for various reasons. First of all, as a student, I've been using social media. That is, for example, I've used YouTube to learn some basics of maybe editing, or maybe, for example, there is a software called Adobe Premiere Pro. Now, in our school, we were taught on that thing, but we were just told some basic things on Adobe Premiere Pro and other softwares. But through social media, I've been able to learn quite a number of things. That is, I've also learned how to use Canva. That is one of the upcoming apps that have been used in media industry. I've been able to learn so many things. And also, at the same time, I've used maybe YouTube to showcase what I can do as a journalist. I have my own YouTube channel. And therefore, it has enabled me maybe to showcase my skills and to show people that indeed I'm a journalist and that I can do this thing.
Amazing. So you have said that you have used social media, for example, YouTube, to change your life.
Yeah.
Now there's this student who is outside there and also doesn't have a campus where he or she is heading to. Then what's your take on that, and also direction that you're going to give him, coining your response to the social media?
Now, for me, what I can just urge my fellow student is that indeed, perhaps maybe social media has been criticized for quite some times,
yeah.
But I know that everything with advantages have disadvantages.
Sure.
And that I'm urging them that because I've seen several students, maybe in fact my fellow students, they have been using social media maybe for other things. Others watching maybe those bad images, contents on those platforms.
Yeah.
But I'm advising them that they should chip in and use that tool to showcase what they can do and to learn new things and new ideas on those social media platforms.
Yeah, a nice one. Nice response from that, Ronald.
Yeah.
And also now to wind up, also my second last question is concerning about the prospect of job market for this student who has recently graduated from high school. He is somewhere all now we can say that today is at the side applying for university.
Sure.
And also the cluster points, it means let's say for example, he or she wanted to take up a course in nursing, but the cluster points are not at his side.
Sure.
Then what's your advice? Now he or she has decided to take journalism or mass communication as his take. Now, what's your take on that and the response you can give to this student on job market? Because today, if you go to the cyber, they ask, a person will be telling you, I'm applying for this job because it is having a lot of money at the end of the career. Now, what's your advice on this student?
Now, to you, the audience and the listeners, I can just say that the job prospect. Speaking of that, once upon a time, I was speaking to one of my mentors.
Yeah.
That is, he was a journalist, and he once told me that. Let me just speak of this of journalist students.
Yeah.
Because I'm a media practitioner, and therefore, maybe I have some experience or knowledge about that. I'm speaking to those people pursuing journalism, and I'm telling them that journalist told me that journalism is one of the best course in this world, and it is paying.
Yeah.
Indeed, it is paying.
Yeah.
We have had the likes of Jeff Koinange,
sure.
Lulu Hassan, Stephen Leto. They are having quite some good cash, and therefore I'm saying that these journalists asked me and tell me that the one problem with journalism is that they only employ students or a media practitioner who has the skills. As you have said that most of the people are just pursuing maybe journalism because maybe of the cluster points or the likes.
Yeah.
And therefore, maybe at the end of the fourth year, they end up having nothing at their fingertips. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because now, if you take this person to a media industry and tell him or her, do this and this and this, do you know how to use a camera? That person doesn't have a clue. And therefore, imagine those people that the job prospect, the jobs are there, but the jobs are there for only those who are able to do that job. And therefore, they should prepare enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you wanted to do journalism or not.
Yeah.
But because you have undertook that cause, just do it to your best.
With passion.
Write, communicate. Good communication skills, of course, as a journalist, you should have a good communication skills. Sure.
You know, you have really taken me back in high school when with the not in high school, university, we used to have a notion that
sure.
that one journalist can pay 2 teachers.
Sure. Even more than 2.
How sure are you?
No, but let us not criticize those people.
Oh, yeah,
They
okay.
totally. Sure.
So to move on, and also my final question is that as Ronald Wafula, you yourself now,
Sure.
how do you define success in your field of journalism?
Wow, quite a good question. I can define success, me as a journalist, that I take journalism as a tool to educate other people, to entertain, and to and maybe to showcase.
Yeah.
And in this matter, I can just say that journalists are also because I'm also good in maybe sports. I'm a sport journalist also at the same time.
Yeah.
I can say that I use journalism for entertainment, and that is how I define success for me as a journalist.
Amazing, amazing. Now, thank you for your cooperation and also what you have really enlightened us. We have been with our guest, Ronald Wafula, who is a media practitioner, and he has really shed a lot of light concerning this career. And also, we really appreciate for your time. Then, now, thank you for taking time and watching us. And also, maybe your final word or your kicker.
Okay, for me, my final words, for me as a journalist, I am urging those students pursuing or who are aspiring to be journalists, that as a journalist, have good communication skills, communicate better, have the skills in your fingertips, and you will become a better journalist.
Thank you for your time, and I've been your host, Ronny. Till next time, remember that it has been Power Talk. Goodbye. Nice moments.